Today on 7th Circle Gaming, we're going to analyze the game Anno 1800. We begin, as we always do, every analysis on the channel with full disclosure, and you are welcome to pause the video and read through all of this at your leisure, or if that's not necessarily your thing, just let the video run and wait for the screenshots to start. In this first screenshot, we're going to begin by looking at the overworld map, and then we'll move on to a brief discussion about the user interface. The overworld map will vary slightly depending on which options the player has chosen, but in general it will look something like this. The user interface does not differ significantly from other games of the genre, so we'll only discuss that briefly. At the top left-hand corner of the screen, we have the economic indicators. At the top right-hand corner of the screen, we have the game speed indicators. And at the center left-hand corner of the screen is the notifications bar. In this next screenshot, we're going to take a closer look at the in-game world. From what we can see, everything is rendered in a not overly realistic, nor is it overly cartoonish art style. From what we can see, the in-game world is rendered at this level not overly realistically, nor is it overly cartoonishly. The user interface has changed somewhat, with economic and social indicators at the top center of the screen, as well as access to some overlays. At the bottom left-hand corner of our screen is the minimap, and at the bottom center of the screen is the build menu. And that's all the screenshots we have to share with you today, so let's now move on to our first proper chapter, which is, as it always is, immersion. And here the game has earned a frankly very high score of 10 out of 15, meaning the game is very immersive. We don't have anything else to add to that, so we'll now move on to difficulty. Difficulty, the game has earned a score of 6 out of 15. If we were to be more subjective, we would say that the game comfortably earns a score of 7.5 out of 15, which is absolutely average. The game doesn't do anything particularly poorly as far as difficulty is concerned, but it doesn't do anything well either. Those that are not overly familiar with the genre and this particular series of games may find the key commands somewhat confusing, and this can lead to accidental misclicks. There were additionally some minor issues with click detection, but those were very minor and may be resolved with a particular type of mouse or graphical settings. Now then, let's move on to lasting appeal, where the game has earned a frankly very high score of 9 out of 15. The game does a lot of things well, such as offering substantive downloadable content and embracing mod support. The game also has multiple ways of engaging with the software in single-player modes, as well as multiplayer. The game also adds multiple difficulty settings for players to retry the game with, as well as account-wide progression for players to accumulate bonuses as they continue to engage with the software. Overall, Anno 1800 has earned an objective score according to our rubric of 8.33 out of 15. And that is where our objectivity ends, so we hope you have your salt handy, because everything that we are about to say is completely subjective. Anno 1800 is absolutely not a game for everyone. The core gameplay loop, if we can borrow that phrase, is optimization, and players that don't find this enjoyable won't enjoy Anno 1800. Players that are already familiar with the Anno series will find that this installment has a lot of quality of life improvements over other games in the series. Primarily as a result of its setting, Anno 1800 does lack some of the more creative aspects of Anno 2070 and Anno 2205. So, is Anno 1800 the greatest game of all time? Absolutely not. Unless players are particularly interested in the Anno series, and more precisely in this particular time period. And on that final, highly subjective note, we do congratulate everyone who watched all the way to the end of the video. You're welcome to leave any disagreements in the comments section below, or requests for games. We do listen to those as well. Either way, we look forward to seeing you on the next video, and from 7th Circle Gaming, goodbye.